Hi there, my name's Lawrence. I'm the creator of the Shopper Mogul simulation. And this is a short video that I've been asked to make just explaining one of the core marketing concepts within the game. So a student has asked me if I can explain what we mean by different categories and what role they have as part of the marketing suite of decisions that you have to make as a director of a consumer goods company. So it's a different video to the other ones that I've made in that it's not a technical explanation of how the simulation works. It's actually more of just understanding one of the key concepts. Now, just to be clear up front, there is a suite of capabilities called category management, which is that skill set for for working together with retailers to optimize how a category is displayed to shoppers. I will touch a little bit on this at the end. This isn't really a video about category management. It's really just a video to explain what we mean when we talk about categories and how categories relate to brands and packs. So the other elements that you have to consider when you're constructing your portfolio of products. So what is a category? So essentially a category is a collection of products that serves the same fundamental consumer need. So a group of products within a category are products that you will make a choice between when you're trying to solve one consumer problem. So to give an example, if you were selling automotive vehicles, you may have a category of products for people who are buying sedans, small cars, family cars. You may have another category of products for people who are interested in off-road vehicles. And a third category could be semi-articulated trucks, so large logistics vehicles for doing warehouse-to-warehouse deliveries. They're all automotive products, but they have very different consumer requirements. If I am looking to buy a new car for commuting, and I go down to my dealer and they actually don't have any sedans in stock, but they do have an 18-wheeler truck on their forecourt, I'm never going to switch categories and say, well, I was hoping to pick up a nippy little family car, but I'll buy your truck instead. They're different. They're what we call different categories, serving sufficiently different needs that you as a consumer will never substitute from one to another. So to give an example for consumer packaged goods, one of the categories that we talk about within Shopper Mogul, within some of the games, is carbonated beverages. So drinks like Coca-Cola or Fanta. They're both real-world carbonated beverages. And if I, as a consumer, were thinking of an event, or if I just wanted to fill up my fridge with drinks that I could refresh myself with, I may get to the shelf and I'd find these products next to each other, and I'd have a think about which one was most appropriate to me. I may do it at the shelf, I may have preconceived ideas, but at some point I'm going to decide which of these products has the image or the taste profile which is most appropriate to me. And that'll become part of my repertoire as a consumer. What I'm almost never going to do is go into a shop thinking, I'd really like a can of Coke, and leave with a couple of litres of milk. The two products are sufficiently different that they're serving a very different consumer need. Now, I as a consumer buy both milk and Coke, but I don't substitute between the two. If I'm going out to buy Coke and they don't have any, I'll never come back. I won't instead buy twice as much milk. I will rather buy as much milk as I needed for my milk on my cereal, and I'll just have to leave with no Coke or with some alternative soft drink. or I'll buy it later. But I won't swap between one and the other. Similarly, if I was going in to buy milk, I might leave with a small pack if I was just looking for something to drink right now with my lunch, or different pack. There may be different brands, different formulations of milk, but they are fundamentally, the milk and the carbonated soft drinks are groups of products that demand will not flow between. So what does this mean for the simulation? From the world page, from the home page, you can find out what categories are available for you to sell just by going to the world page. Now, from the world page, you get an overview of what products you have the opportunity as a management team to decide to sell. So in this game, in this demonstration game, it's been set up with 4 different categories that the teams may be choosing to sell. They may sell beer, they may sell spirits, water, or wine. Each of these will have their own set of brands that people have chosen to sell, but also each category has certain core characteristics that are common to all the brands in the market. So if we look at the beer segment, what we can see is there's certain information here which you should have a look at just to understand the basic dynamics of how the beer category work. Now, for each category, there is a prime consumer type who over-indexes as a source of demand for this category. So for beer, hipsters are the consumer type which is more likely to buy beer than any other consumer type. Now, if you look at the insights section later on, you'll find hipsters have a certain profile. You can use information there to help you to think about how you would best target a hipster. That doesn't mean that other consumers don't buy it, just that they will over-index. You can also see that each category has what we call a different level of price elasticity. So price elasticity is a measure of how likely people are to switch between brands within the category. For some categories, people will be very brand loyal, in which case they have low elasticity. And for some categories, people will change what they're consuming quite happily. Now, let's look for a more interesting category. If we have a look at wine, here we are. So wine, we can see it has a different main consumer type. It's the aficionados. The aficionados are the people who care about product heritage and quality. And we can see that wine consumers, they have very high level of elasticity. So why is this? Essentially, it's a reflection of the real world. Wine drinkers, they tend not to just like to drink the same bottle of wine all the time. Part of being a wine drinker is actually that you quite like the variety. You want to experiment. You may have certain types of wine that you like or certain price ranges that you like, but if you go into a shop and you find a new or an interesting product or a product that's on a particularly good price discount, then wine drinkers are very likely to switch from products that they've tried previously to something new. In comparison, spirits drinkers, they have very low elasticity, which is to say that a spirits drinker, somebody who drinks, say, Johnny Walker, they're very unlikely to go to their local shop and come back with a bottle of Glenfiddich. They're both good spirits brands, but for spirits drinkers, the brand is also something of a personal label. It says something to other people about who you are, or maybe it says something to yourself about who you are, in a way that your choice of 2 different wine bottles doesn't necessarily say the same thing. So spirits drinkers, they have much lower level of elasticity. Why is this important? Well, if you're launching a new brand and you're going head-to-head with an existing brand, it's much easier to do that in a category that has high elasticity than one that has low elasticity. Low elasticity categories, it's far more important to build up loyalty over time. It's far more important to build brand awareness because people will be much less likely to switch products on the fly. So, as I say, take time to explore these areas in your game. Also, do go to the insights section where there is specific information about categories. Now, by the way, if the first time you come to the insights section you see all of these areas are red and locked out, that's because nobody in your team yet has decided to actually purchase the insights package. So one member of your team is going to have to make the choice to buy access to this information. I say to buy it with game money. I strongly recommend at the start of the game that you do buy access to all of the insights. Later on in the game you can get a little bit cuter about which ones are useful. But what we see if we look at the category insights is we spoke earlier on about different consumer types, the hipsters, sophisticates, aficionados. The colours of these bars show you which products these people are currently actually drinking. As we can see, there's very, very different profile of consumption for different types of people. Aficionados, wine is the largest part. For the hipsters, beer is the largest part. Now, to a certain extent, this data is going to change over the course of a game, and it may just be a function of what brands are currently in the market. If there's only brands to appeal to those people, you're going to see only demand from those types of people. The other thing you'll see is that not all categories are equally relevant to all retailers. And that's because retailers tend to target certain consumer types. Club Cabana in this game, as a venue, it doesn't seem to sell very much wine at all. Now that's probably because it's not targeting that sort of aficionado consumer set. So again, if you're the marketing director, you need to use this information to think about what consumer type am I going after. If you're the sales director, you need to use this information to think about what retailer I should be getting my products listed in. It's also a way of diving into more detail on some of the other areas. So things like consumer segmentation and brand scorecards, all the data in these areas can be broken down to different categories. So if I want to look at the brand strength of different spirits brands, I can see that broken out separately to water and wine brands. I can also dive in and just look at certain consumer types. So the category, it's important. It's a different group of people, but it's also a different way of dividing up the data, of looking at the charts that you have available to you. So I hope that was useful as an introduction to what we mean when we talk about categories. Now, I did say earlier on, there is also a whole branch of marketing which is specifically called category management. Category management is a discipline which is generally done jointly between consumer goods manufacturers and retailers. So, if you're a large retailer, you will work with one or several of your suppliers in order to make sure that you have jointly understood how your consumers are shopping this particular category. And based on the insights that you can jointly generate, either from your suppliers' wisdom or from studies of how your shoppers are shopping your category, the idea is to use that information to make decisions about what assortments of products you should be selling. So what different subcategories should there be? How much variety do you need in different areas? It's also about understanding how they shop the shelf. So which products should you have at eye level, below eye level, above eye level, as well as how pricing and promotions work. What type of promotion is going to be most effective for this category? What's the importance of having displays out of aisle and so on? Now, I say it would be a much longer video to really dive into the detail of how category management works. A very simple version of it is kind of the job of the sales director within the Shopper Modal game. But as I say, this video is more just to understand what categories are, not to walk you through. There's something called the Harris model for deep diving how category management as a discipline works. Maybe we'll make that the topic of another video. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. And if you do have any questions, then please drop me an email or drop an email to whoever's facilitating your course. And otherwise, good luck with the game you're playing. Thank you.